In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 NBA games happening on January 25th, 2026, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Dallas Mavericks versus Milwaukee Bucks. The Dallas Mavericks roll into Fiserv Forum on Sunday night to take on the Milwaukee Bucks, and it is a trickier spot than it might look on the surface. Dallas just beat the Warriors, then turned around and lost to the Lakers, and they still have the Timberwolves next, so their schedule feels a bit like a treadmill that never stops. Even so, they have come away with 4 wins in their last 5 games, which tells you they are handling the chaos reasonably well. Milwaukee is coming from the other direction, with losses to the Thunder and the Nuggets, and the 76ers looming next on their slate. The Bucks have dropped 6 of their last 8 games, and honestly, that kind of skid tends to rattle confidence for fans and players alike. It is not that Milwaukee has been any kind of sure thing lately, but that is almost the point. They are struggling even though the talent is there. The injury report just layers on more noise. The Mavericks are still missing Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Derek Lively II, and Dante Exum, so a lot of their recent success is coming while they are far from whole. The Bucks have ruled out Giannis Antetokounmpo and Kevin Porter Jr., with a Jay Green listed as questionable, so they are dealing with their own gaps in the rotation. Giannis being out again keeps them from feeling like their usual version, but the supporting cast still has a chance to steady things at home. Here is the thing, the Mavericks are playing the second game of a back-to-back set, and that is rarely kind to legs or late-game decision-making. The Bucks have the rest advantage and they are in their own building, and the league schedule is usually kinder to the team that gets to sleep in their own beds. On top of that, the Mavs have not beaten the Bucks since April 2022, and Milwaukee has taken 8 of the last 9 meetings between these teams. That kind of run does not guarantee anything, but it does hint that this matchup has suited the Bucks more often than not. So when you line it all up, you get a Dallas team that has played good ball this week but is banged up and on the back end of a back-to-back, facing a Milwaukee team with issues of form and injuries but with extra rest, home court, and a strong recent record in this head-to-head. You are not even being asked to lay a full bucket with the favorite, which gives the home side a little extra appeal in a spot like this. As our first pick for this matchup, the Milwaukee Bucks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Dallas Mavericks are averaging 114.2 points on 47.3% shooting and allowing 116.6 points on 46.3% shooting, so their games often feel like traded punches rather than low-scoring chess matches. They are shooting 34.4% from beyond the arc and 74.8% from the free throw line, which is solid enough for the offense to keep humming when they get decent looks. On the other side of the ball, they allow just 32.9% shooting from deep, and they are grabbing 44.7 rebounds per game, which helps them push into transition when they clean the glass. The Milwaukee Bucks show a slightly different but still offense-friendly shape. They are averaging 112.9 points on 48.5% shooting and allowing 115.1 points on 46.4% shooting, so both ends of the floor are open to some pretty lively stretches. They are hitting 39.5% from beyond the arc, which is a big number, and 73.9% from the free throw line, while allowing 36.3% shooting from deep. They are pulling down 40.6 rebounds per game, so there is still room for second chance looks and quick runouts off misses. Put together, you have 2 teams that routinely allow opponents to reach well into the 100 teens while also scoring comfortably themselves, which usually feeds into longer runs, more open threes, and plenty of possessions. Even with key players out, the replacements tend to play with energy and push pace, and sometimes that leads to more scoring rather than less, especially when both defenses have already been giving plenty up. So, with these shooting numbers, the way both sides concede points, and the general flow of their recent games, it makes more sense to expect a higher scoring outcome than a tight, low-number affair. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Toronto Raptors versus Oklahoma City Thunder. The Toronto Raptors head to the Paycom Center on Sunday night to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and there is a lot baked into this number before the ball even goes up. They have just beaten the Trail Blazers and the Kings, and they have the Knicks on deck, so it is not like they are slipping into this one quietly. They have won 11 of their last 17 games, which is a nice little stretch for a team that was not exactly being hyped up early on. On the other side, the Thunder just took care of the Bucks, then stumbled against the Pacers, and they will see the Pelicans next. They have still won 41 of their last 50 regular season games, so in terms of pure results, they look like a machine that rarely takes a night off. And that is part of why the market keeps treating them like a juggernaut, because the straight-up record screams powerhouse even when the spread record does not. Injuries do add a bit of fog here. The Raptors are still without Jakob Poeltl, and they have Emmanuel Quickley, Jacoby Walter, and Colin Murray-Boyles all listed as questionable, so their rotation could have a few moving parts by tip-off. The Thunder have already ruled out Ajay Mitchell, Alex Caruso, and Isaiah Hartenstein, so they are not exactly at full strength either, even if their core identity stays mostly intact. It is one of those spots where both coaches have to massage minutes a little, which sometimes favors the team that is used to grinding things out rather than blowing people away. But here is the thing, the Thunder keep getting priced like last season's version, and this current group just is not covering spreads the way you would expect from their win-loss record. They are sitting at 23-23 against the spread this season, which is as average as it gets. We literally just watched them lose outright to the Pacers as a double-digit favorite, and that is not a one-off issue. Since January 4th, they are 1-6 against the spread as a double-digit favorite, and 4 of those non-covers were outright losses where the underdog did not even need the points. That is a real pattern, not just a random blip. Meanwhile, the Raptors have quietly played decent ball, and they have already stacked up 15 road wins, which says something about their ability to handle hostile gyms and weird travel spots. They are coming into this one with real confidence, and even if it is hard to picture them cruising, it is not hard at all to picture them hanging around. Big numbers can invite late-game chaos, and teams with their kind of fight often end up sneaking in the back door or just refusing to go away. So while the Thunder still look like the more likely winner on paper, this particular spread feels exaggerated, especially given how often they have burned backers laying heavy chalk. This line feels wild, and the gap between perceived strength and against the spread reality is exactly where you look if you like grabbing points. As our first pick for this matchup, the Toronto Raptors to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Toronto Raptors are averaging 113.9 points on 47.1% shooting and allowing 112.1 points on 46.1% shooting, so their games lean toward competitive and fairly high scoring rather than slow grinds. They are hitting 33.9% from beyond the arc and 77.4% from the free throw line, which is enough shooting to punish soft coverage when the ball moves. They allow 34.4% from deep and pull down 43.2 rebounds per game, which can lead to quick runouts after misses and those little extra possessions that quietly bump totals up. The Thunder's statistical profile leans even more toward offense. They are averaging 121.4 points on 8.9% shooting and allowing 108.4 points on 43.7% shooting, and that scoring average alone tells you they are used to playing with pace and freedom. They shoot 35.5% from 3 and 82.6% from the free throw line, so when they get into rhythm, trips up the floor start to feel automatic for long stretches. They allow 37.6% from beyond the arc and are grabbing 43.9 rebounds per game, which sets up a lot of long rebounds, quick pushes, and transition threes both ways. When you put those numbers together, you get a matchup that leans more toward trading blows than a slow, half-court slugfest. The Raptors can score efficiently enough to keep up, and the Thunder can stretch defenses with their shooting and spacing, so empty possessions might be the exception rather than the rule for long stretches. Missing a true anchor in the middle like Poeltl can also open the paint a bit, which sometimes leads to easier drives and kick-out threes instead of ugly post-ups and long, wasted possessions. On the other side, the Thunder giving up that level of three-point percentage suggests the Raptors will see some clean looks from outside, especially if the ball moves side to side and forces closeouts. You also have two teams that can push the tempo when they get a rebound, and that kind of game usually means more possessions, more shots, and more chances for scoring runs. Even if there are a few ugly stretches, the overall shape of the numbers points more toward a game that creeps into a higher range rather than collapsing into a low-scoring rock fight. So, if you are trying to decide where this one lands on the total, the scoring averages, shooting splits, and defensive numbers all lean toward a contest that finishes on the higher side. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Miami Heat versus Phoenix Suns. The Miami Heat and Phoenix Suns meet Sunday at the so-called Mortgage Matchup Center, and the setup is a bit messy on both sides. Miami comes in off a loss to the Trail Blazers, a strong win over the Jazz, and then they have the Magic waiting next. They have dropped 6 of their last 10 games, so even with that big win yesterday, this is not a team rolling through the schedule. Phoenix, on the other hand, beat the 76ers, then fell to the Hawks, and they get the Nets after this one. They have won 13 of their last 19 games, which tells you they have been far more steady over the last stretch than Miami. Even with some bumps, they look like the group that more often knows what it is from night to night. The injury report shapes a lot of the conversation here. The Heat are still short-handed with Kel'el Ware, Tyler Herro, and Davion Mitchell all out, so they are yet again asking a shorter rotation to do a lot of heavy lifting. The Suns have ruled out Devin Booker and have Jalen Green listed as questionable, which means their starting backcourt could be blown up before the opening tip. That is no small thing, because when both guards are off the floor, the whole offense has to shift, from ball handling to spacing to late clock options. Miami has not been able to hit a strong rhythm this season, but that dominant win over the Jazz last night at least injects some real confidence. Yes, they are on the backside of a back-to-back, and that usually hurts legs, focus, and defensive closeouts, especially on the road. They also have 15 road losses already, which is not exactly a glowing endorsement for trusting them away from home. Phoenix has been one of the more consistent teams, and it shows in how they have treated bettors. They have been a moneymaker with a 30-13-2 record against the spread this season, so backing them has felt almost automatic most nights. That is one big reason why the market keeps leaning their way. People like what has been paying them. Here is where it gets tricky. The Suns will not have Booker, and they might be missing Green as well, so you are suddenly talking about a team down an entire starting backcourt. The Heat just beat the Suns a couple of weeks ago, which is still fresh in everyone's mind, and it shows that the matchup is not some impossible climb for them. If Phoenix is down both primary guards, you can honestly argue that the Heat should not be catching as many points as they are. We have been riding the Suns against the spread for a while, almost on autopilot, but with this injury report and Miami coming in with a bit of belief, grabbing the points feels more sensible than fighting the number. As our first pick for this matchup, the Miami Heat to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Miami Heat are averaging 119.3 points on 46.5% shooting and allowing 118.3 points on 46.2% shooting. They are shooting 36.7% from beyond the arc and 79% from the free throw line. The Miami Heat are allowing 34.9% shooting from deep and are grabbing 45.7 rebounds per game. Those numbers show a team that can score, but that also gives plenty back on the other end. Still, on a back-to-back, legs often get heavy, jump shots flatten out a bit, and pace can slow down, especially later in the game when possessions start to matter more. Sometimes a high-scoring average does not fully carry over when fatigue creeps in and rotations shorten. The Phoenix Suns are averaging 114.7 points on 46.2% shooting and allowing 111.9 points on 46.8% shooting. The Phoenix Suns are shooting 36.5% from beyond the arc and 79.5% from the free throw line. The Phoenix Suns are allowing 34.8% shooting from deep and are grabbing 43.2 rebounds per game. Without Devin Booker, and possibly without Jalen Green, the Suns lose a big chunk of scoring, creation, and late clock shot making. That often leads to more deliberate half-court sets, more touches for secondary options, and a bit less pace. When your main guards are out, you usually see fewer early clock pull-up threes and a lot more probing, which can chew the clock. And combine that with the Heat coming off a game the night before, and you get a setup where both sides have reasons to play a little slower, rely on half-court execution, and grind out possessions. The shooting numbers on both teams are solid, but the circumstances point toward fewer easy transition chances and more contested looks. So while each side can score, the situational factors lean toward a result where the total lands on the lower side rather than climbing up into a wild shootout. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Brooklyn Nets versus Los Angeles Clippers. The Brooklyn Nets head into the Intuit Dome on Sunday to face the Los Angeles Clippers, and this one has that awkward mix of a red-hot team up against a group that has really been stuck in the mud lately. Brooklyn is coming off losses to the Celtics and Knicks, and they have the Suns up next, so it is not exactly an easy stretch for them. They have dropped 12 of their last 14 games, which kind of tells you most of what you need to know about how rough things have been. The Clippers are in a completely different lane right now. They beat the Lakers, slipped up against the Bulls, and then see the Jazz after this one. They have still won 14 of their last 17 games, so most nights they look like a team that knows exactly who it is and how it wants to play. In terms of bodies, the Nets are still missing Cam Thomas, Noah Clowney, and Nolan Traore, so they are not operating with a full deck. The Clippers are missing Derrick Jones Jr., Bradley Beal, and Bogdanović, and they have Kawhi Leonard listed as questionable, so their rotation might shift a bit depending on how that call goes. Even with those names out, though, the Clippers have kept their level pretty high in recent games. Brooklyn has been the coldest team in the league for quite a while, but there was at least a glimmer of life in that narrow double overtime loss to the Celtics. That kind of effort can give a team a little confidence, especially when people have been writing them off. The problem is that games like that have been the exception, not the rule, when you look at their full season form. The Clippers, in contrast, have just kept handling business. They are 8-2 straight up and 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games, which is pretty much the definition of reliable in this kind of spot. They already beat the Nets by 16 points a couple of weeks ago, which is still fresh in everyone's mind and lines up with the broader story of where these two teams are right now. You can say the Nets could make this a contest if they repeat that Celtics-level performance, and that is technically true. The issue is that those nights have been rare, while flat, low-scoring efforts like the 66-point outing against the Knicks have been far too common. The Clippers, even with a few key rotation players out, have been the steadier, more trustworthy side, especially at home, and their current form makes it very hard to talk yourself into the underdog beyond pure hope. So with the Nets doing so little to inspire confidence in their current state and the Clippers still rolling along, laying the points with the home team is the only side that really makes sense by the time you add it all up. As our first pick for this matchup, the Los Angeles Clippers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Brooklyn Nets are averaging 108.8 points on 44.7% shooting and allowing 113.9 points on 48.5% shooting. They are shooting 34.3% from beyond the arc and 78% from the free throw line. They are allowing 37.2% from deep and grabbing 40.2 rebounds per game. Those numbers tell you a couple of simple things. The Nets have a hard time matching opponents punch for punch, but they also give up clean looks and efficient shooting on the other end. When you are allowing that kind of percentage from three and from the field in general, your games can quietly drift upward in total points, even if your own offense is not exactly lighting it up. The Los Angeles Clippers bring their own profile to the table. They are averaging 112.4 points on 47.4% shooting and allowing 113.8 points on 47% shooting. They shoot 36.4% from beyond the arc and 84.5% from the free throw line, which means they cash in when they get to the stripe and can punish mistakes on the perimeter. They allow 36.8% from deep and grab 40.3 rebounds per game. Put together, you get two defenses that allow solid shooting clips, especially from outside, and one offense that scores efficiently while the other at least has the chance to ride a good shooting night. Even if the Nets stay a bit inconsistent, the way both teams give up three-point percentages gives this matchup some sneaky upside for scoring. There is also the simple rhythm of a game where one side is in control, the lead stretches, and the trailing team keeps shooting, which often adds extra possessions and late points rather than draining the clock. The Nets may not be trustworthy in terms of competing every night, but that does not always mean their games are low-scoring. Sometimes their defensive issues and the opponent's efficiency combine to push totals up, and the Clippers have more than enough offensive talent to take advantage of the holes that are already baked into Brooklyn's numbers. With both teams allowing strong field goal and three-point percentages and the Clippers bringing a capable offense into their own building, the setup leans toward a game where the total lands on the higher side rather than settling into a tight, defensive grind. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.